So now we have started. So now I want to get into my Moodle instance. Now kindly note this port 1080. So that is where Apache is going to serve our web pages. Now I am going to open the browser. I am going to give the URL http, then localhost is permanent. Then you key in your Apache port number, and then Moodle is the name of the folder where the instance is installed. It will take you to, it will open the Moodle page. So now it is logged into my admin user. You see, I have logged into my admin portal. Now this is actually what you see, the dashboard. Now before getting into the dashboard is the first point where everybody on entry is going to see. So let us customize this dashboard at the fag end of our course. Now let us go to the site home and see what is there for your display. So here I have created a small Moodle site just for the benefit of you, to show what exactly can be done with Moodle. So here in the first page, this is the first page, or the front page as they call. So this first page, you can edit the first page. So to edit the first page, you need to click here, turn editing on. You see a small pencil here, just click turn editing on. It enables the entire editing process. So it's a toggle actually. You can switch editing off by just clicking the same button or same instance once again. So now this is actually the most important aspect of your front page. This page can be edited by clicking in this gearbox or gear wheel. If you click here, the edit box opens. So in this edit box, I have given a name for this edit box. I have named it Moodle demo site. I have written a 2-line small write-up about this site, and I have managed to embed a YouTube video, a video which I have already uploaded to YouTube. So how exactly you embed this video? So all you got to do is you click here, you will see insert edit audio video, or here what you can see, you can record a video. Both facilities are available. If you have a webcam or camera attached, you can record a live video and post, or you can insert a video here. So by clicking the video, you just key in the URL of your YouTube video, link to the YouTube video, and click insert media. Automatically it gets inserted here. And then there are other parameters which you need to take care of. You can restrict access to this page. You can say, I am going to restrict this page being shown to a guest. So that again you can add restriction, or if you want this page to be shown to everybody, you just say no restriction, and you can give save changes. So as soon as you give save changes, it takes you to the live site, and the things have been done. So here again, you can add boxes here. You can add blocks. In Moodle, the boxes are called as blocks. Supposing you want to add some blocks here, all you got to do is add a block. So these are the blocks which can be added. The first one is the activity. Second one is the admin bookmarks. You can add a blog menu. You can add blog tags. You can add a calendar. You can add comments. You can add a feedback. You can add global search. And the most important thing is what you call HTML. Supposing if you add a HTML block, what happens is it gives you a small block where you can key in your, so here you have got the new HTML block. So you just click the wheel, configure HTML block. So in this HTML block, you can write a short summary of your site. You can display images. You can display your photograph, you can display a video, a short summary of your site. Everything can be done by creating a HTML block. So I like every one of you to create. So this site, my image I have given now, this was done actually by creating a HTML block and embedding my image. That's what I have done. So that you can do. And then what all the blocks you can add. So here you can add a feedback, you can add HTML. I have told you the latest announcement block. If you add, so what will happen is as soon as the user comes in, what happens, it will give what all the announcements you have posted, it will come to it will be shown here. So the latest announcement block is a compulsory block which you need to add to your front page. So here you can add a topic. For example, you want an announcement to be going online. So you want to say something, you're going to have a workshop or something. You just type here and post or pin. So for example, workshop on Moodle, right? Title, Moodle on 20th of between 10:30 and 11:30. Okay. This short message you can give. Then you can also drag and drop a file. So we can even go and drop a Moodle icon or a Moodle file. For example, to make it easy, what I'll do, just put in a logo. Then I'll upload. Do it here. The logos here. If you say pinned, it will be there for a long time. So display period you can specify when you want it to be shown. Say it is here, it says 17th, 18th, then I want it to be there till 20th. So I post. So what if I do, as soon as I post, the moment it has been added successfully. Here, if somebody wants to subscribe, any changes in this post will be subscribed. It also tells me that this post is timed. I don't know whether you're seeing this blue tag. This is actually, it says timed. When it says timed, it tells us that it will be there only for the specified period of time. So anybody can reply, can give remarks by clicking the button. So what happens? I have seen you see announcement, it is beautifully displaying the name of the person who has set the announcement, and the details of the announcement is being displayed here. So you should have an announcement block in your Moodle front page. So what are the other blocks you can add? So you can add latest badges. So badges is a unique system which is available in Moodle. You can reward a good performing student with a badge. You can award a good performing faculty or teacher by awarding a badge. So you can always give if you say latest badges, it will create a small box. It says you have no badges to display. So now what I will do is, at some time during the course of today's discussion, I will create a small badge for myself and I will award it to myself, and I will show that it is being displayed in my front page. So this is actually the front page. So I think I will want all of you to experiment with these blocks. So you can add all these blocks. You can configure all these blocks individually so that you can display. You have a huge real estate in front of you. You can create various blocks to your convenience and make the entire site most useful. Now the next thing, the most important thing we need to do is go to the site administration. The site administration is a place where the administrator takes control of the entire site and they will be administering the site. So I've opened the site administration block. So what happens is, if you want to do a quick search, because the parameters which we can manipulate or play around with is enormous and mind-boggling, it is difficult to go and search for it. You can always use the search button or the search box which has been provided. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the notification, which I have already given you a small sneak preview yesterday, that if you click the notification button, it really briefs us about the status of our Moodle installation. So here what it says is, it has taken me to another. The notification is, it should tell us how exactly, right. It will take you to a page where it will tell me whether any new versions are available, any cron jobs need to be done. See how slow. Say this is actually the notification page. If you want to check for the updates, Moodle updates for the whether you have the current version, You just click available updates. It will go to the update server, check out your version, and it will tell you whether your version is up to date or not. And then here again, there is something called enable web services for mobile devices. So what exactly this feature means? The Moodle has come out with a feature known as creation of Moodle mobile apps. But let me warn you, this mobile app creation is going to be a paid service. Supposing you want to create a mobile app, so you see it is telling me a newer version of Moodle is available. So right now we are running 3.90. Now 3.91 is available. So it says that you need to download the newer version. So let me tell you, the Moodle comes out with a newer version every 2 months. Every 2 months you get a newer version, and this newer version you need to download and upgrade. Supposing if you want to upgrade your your professional version, which is available in the server, which you are using it on a day-to-day basis, I will like you to download and upgrade your local installation. That is the reason why I encourage you to create a local installation in your local hard drive, desktop or laptop, so that you can perform all the upgrade process, and you ensure that if the upgrade goes seamlessly, you can perform the same upgrade process into your production environment. So the production environment is where is your regular Moodle installation is present. So now I have shown you in your notification page, you have a feature which checks up your installed version, goes to the main server and finds out whether that is the current version or not. If it is not a current version, it comes out and tells you that Arey Baba, yours is the old version. If you want, you can download the more stable version. And mind you, you cannot simply download and auto update a Moodle installation. Moodle installation should be updated only manually. So that is actually another process, and that is beyond the scope of our program as such. So it is sufficient for you if you know that you can check the version of Moodle and find out whether it is current or not. So we will have a discussion on how to upgrade the Moodle site at a later date when we have the opportunity. And here, as I have already told you, the mobile devices, enabling web services for mobile devices. Actually what happens, this is actually a paid service. If you really want to create an app to incorporate all your Moodle resources into a mobile app, you need to have a paid subscription with the Moodle server. So but by enabling this, what you're doing is, if somebody has created a Moodle portable Moodle app, they can access your site. I repeat again, even though creation of a Moodle app is paid service, somebody else would have created a service like this. Supposing you would have allowed this to happen, your site will be visible in the mobile app. So I always advise you to enable that aspect of Moodle mobile services. So always you allow the mobile services to function. The next thing we need to do is, you need to register your site with the Moodle administrator. It says that your site is not registered. So what are the details your Moodle seeks for your site to be registered? So it's a name of the site, listing. You can always say, do not list my site. You can say, you display my site with a link. Suppose Moodle has a centralized web page which lists all the sites which is running on Moodle. So you can give out a small description of your site, the language of your site, the country your site belongs. And mind you, there is a small thing which says notification. This is very important. If you say you notify the presence of any other Moodle releases or security alerts, if you enable this and give out your email ID, any security vulnerability or any new release will be notified to you. So just by clicking the site, you can register the site with Moodle. I'll show you some information. After registration, you can see, by clicking here, other sites in my country, it will show you the map which demonstrates how many sites, Moodle sites are there. All over the world, you'll be seeing the number of registered Moodle sites here. And then I'll show you another feature, Moodle statistics. This will make interesting reading. It tells you by a map, say for example, the countries with registered sites. So what happened is, the last I saw India was about 4 months back. It had 8,000 registered sites. Now you see what Corona has done for us. It has made us jump from 8,000 and on to 11,974. This is what a virus has done. So I want our institutions to jump into this Moodle installation and ensure that, in fact, we are more or less par with the United States. I'm really happy. I'm seeing this figure for the first time. I have seen it, say, about 3 or 4 months back. It was reading around somewhere around 8,000, and US was around somewhere around 11,000. I was wondering how come such a big country with so many universities, we don't have enough Moodle sites. Now it's a pleasant surprise even for me. I am seeing this screen after a long time. You see, we have literally outpaced the United States in our Moodle installation. I'm really happy. It's a happy thing for me. I was really lamenting even for the other day with my wife, saying that, see where we are not even using a free resource. So now it's a pleasant surprise that India has, it's a news to me. In fact, as I'm seeing the entire thing along with you, it's a surprise that I'm seeing a figure of 11,974 registered sites as far as India is concerned. It's a happy thing. I think it is only bound to increase, and it is not going to decrease. I want every one of you to join the bandwagon. Let us see what are the other interesting things your site administration has got to offer. Then we have done the registration. Now let us go to the Moodle services. And here Moodle services is actually a paid service. So supposing you want to hand over the entire installation for it to be run by a paid partner, you can always assign. They will give you a list of partners, and they also create a branding for you, so that everything will be in your brand, but you pay for the services. So Moodle offers a paid service also, because they need to pay their employees, they need to maintain their resources. So this is one option where you pay for the services if you need some with the Moodle. So that is Moodle services. Then feedback settings. Here, if you want to give out feedback about the software, so any user, any student, be it student, be it a mentor, be it a course creator, be it a site admin, if you enable this feedback, they can give out a feedback which will be viewed by the Moodle administrators about the software. They can tell, these are the bugs, this software is not working, these improvements are needed to make it better. At least in the next version, you make these corrections. This can be done by giving a check in this box, which will enable the users as well as the administrators to give feedback to the Moodle servers. And then let us go to the advanced features. Here we need to make a careful study of these features. One is enable outcomes. The default is no, but we are enabling it. Supposing if you enable this, it will help you to grade your students. It will help you to grade the students as per the outcome you have specified. Now we will specify the outcome when we come to the course, but as an initial stage, we have enabled the outcome. Now the next is, we are allowing our students as well as the user to comment on the resources. So we are enabling the comments, and then we are enabling the tags functionality. So whatever resource we create, we should create tags. If you don't create tags, it won't be searchable. So make your search engines more efficient, to make your resources more search friendly, you need to enable this tag functionality. So we have enabled the tag functionality. And then next comes enabling notes. If you enable notes, you can empower our users to keep notes, store notes inside the Moodle environment. Supposing if you, by enabling the users can be a guest, can be enrolled student, can be an enrolled teacher, can be a course creator, or can be an administrator. By enabling this, you are empowering them to store their notes about their users, and they can store it in their own environment. Mind you, Moodle gives a unique environment to each one of its user according to the permissions granted by the administrator. So it gives you a unique environment. And then enabling portfolios. This is again what happens is, if you enable portfolios, what the user can do is they can export content. What are the contents they can export? They can export their forum posts, they can export their assignment submissions, they can export all their contributions as HTML pages. So we need to give out this aspect, this facility to our teachers, because you cannot expect them. They may be creating courses, they may be contributing courses to your site. It doesn't mean they should be wedded to your site. They can be contributing to other sites also. So we should give out an opportunity to enable them to export their posts or export their courses to other sites also. So that export, that content export, if you allow them, that will be a huge plus for them. So what happens if they create a content within the Moodle environment, the same content can be exported as HTML for other websites also. So that will help us a lot. That will help not only a teacher, that will help the student community at large. So you always ensure that you enable the portfolio creation. And then web services, I won't allow you to enable web services because this is a huge security vulnerability. I don't want you to enable. Again, enabling statistics, it will be a huge drain on your servers resources. So I won't enable statistics also. Suppose if you are very keen on statistics, I think you can go ahead and enable statistics. It will tell you the statistics about your courses, the amount of students you get enrolled, how amount of number of students who get dropped, and these things will be shown beautifully, displayed beautifully as graph. But what happens is, if you enable statistics, it is a huge drain on your resources. Mind you, I am running this entire Moodle server within my desktop environment inside my portable LAMP server. So I don't want my machine to be overburdened. So I'm not enabling statistics. Then next comes enabling RSS feeds. So what happens is, this RSS feed, if you enable, these feeds can be taken over and can be displayed by many websites and blog sites which read these RSS feeds and they project as news. Supposing you create a new content and you enable RSS feed, the same feed will be shown in RSS aggregating sites. There are numerous websites which aggregate news sites as well as your Google aggregators. They are called aggregators. They aggregate all these RSS feeds and display it as a news column. So any user who is not enrolled to your Moodle, if they get curious about the resources which is available or which you have created or uploaded, if you enable RSS feed, they will get to know, because the resources you create within the Moodle will stay within the Moodle. So how others, your non-students, your non-members, how they get to know about the resources? If you enable RSS feeds, your feed aggregators, RSS feed aggregators are news channels. The most prominent happens to be the new Google News. So they will pick out all these feeds and display it beautifully in even in non-members devices, so that they will get curious and log into a site. That is one way of getting advertisement. Crudely put, you advertise your site, you advertise your resources by enabling RSS feeds. I am not enabling this for simple reason. This is not going to be a site. This is going to be my personal play tool. So I am not going to enable it. Now, enabling blogs. So within Moodle, you can create an entire blog site. I know by this time, every one of you know what a blog site is. So Moodle is so complete a software, it does not leave out any methodology of communication. So by enabling blogs, you can create a blog, allow members of the Moodle members of this portal to participate actively in blog discussion, in creating blog posts. So you need to enable blogs if you really want an active site. So this, you create a blog, allow the blog, and then the networking. I am really worried about this, because this will really make you naked in the web. I don't want you to enable, and they themselves have disabled it as a default, but they intend to allow this channel for doing something else, which you will see probably in the next versions of Moodle. And then completion tracking is one thing which you should enable. So we don't know which student has completed the course and which student has not completed the course. By enabling completion tracking, the course creator will be provided with a beautiful graph saying the amount of students who have completed, the amount of students who have not completed, that will be clearly shown. And then the completion tracking is already, we have allowed it. And then restricted access, again, you can always say these are the areas which I am restricting access to students. Probably, for example, you can restrict students from viewing their grade. You can restrict other students from viewing others completion details. So you can always restrict certain areas. Supposing you enable restricted access, what happens is, if I am a student, I will be able to see only my performance. I won't be able to see my peers performance. So this is one way of ensuring that your results, your progress of the students are kept a secret. The others need not know how good or how bad his peer is progressing. Suppose you want to ensure a spirit of competition among them, you can always uncheck this and make it open, make your grades and everything open to all students. And then enable plagiarism plugins. So plagiarism plugins you can enable, but for the plagiarism software to work, you need to have a paid subscription. So if you have a paid subscription, if you have a plagiarism subscription with you, you can enable this and then go to the plugin area and give out the key which you got after paying your subscription. So since I don't have any plagiarism subscription, I am not enabling it. And then enable badges. I have told you the badges are nothing but your certificates of appreciation which you give either to the student or to the teacher, and that I am enabling it. And then enabling global search. So within the Moodle environment, if the student or the faculty or a teacher or a course creator or administrator wants to perform a search outside the confines of the Moodle, want to access something, search for something which resides in a server outside the Moodle environment, you can enable the global search, which I have already enabled. Then next comes allow stealth activity. What exactly you mean by stealth activity? As a course creator, what you will do is you will start creating a course, but in the course, inside the course, you would have hidden some aspect of the course tightly within it. What exactly you mean by it? Supposing you are designing a lesson, say halfway down the lesson, you may give out a small quiz just to test the knowledge of the student. But that should not be visible to the student till such time he reaches that point. So that is called the stealth activity. So when somebody is running or when somebody is training, they'll keep running. They won't know the presence of a bump or a pit or something unless and until they come close to it. So that is the issue here. So a teacher, a good teacher always creates a little bit of stealth in his lesson, that makes just to make the student curious, just to keep the concentration of the student. The student should know, okay, there could be a pit, I need to concentrate. To keep the element of concentration in the mind of the student, you allow stealth activity. Stealth activity default is no. I will advise you to allow stealth activity. And then analytics is actually very interesting thing. Analytics helps you as a course creator. It tells you, supposing you have created a course, it tells you, it analyzes and tells you beautifully whether a student will drop out of this course or not. It will even predict whether this course is going to be well received by the students or not. So we will dwell into this very interesting portion of this Moodle version, analytics. This is not given in any other learning management system. This tool in fact helps or warns the teacher that, Re Baba, this students may not like this, may not complete this aspect of the course. So that is the role of analytics. So that is very interesting aspect of Moodle. Then there's something called emoji. So people nowadays are very fond of emojis. So since you have enabled the forum and all these things, feedback and all these things, a forum without a post or a feedback without emoji is as good as food without salt. So we have managed to enable the use of emojis. We have a few emojis which students can choose from. Then let us go to the analytics. So I've told you about analytics. Let us see. Let us dwell a little bit deeper into it. Let us go to the site information. So this site information is what will be seen by others. So you need to tell others what type of site you are, how you manage to pass on your instruction. So I have said blended. Blended is nothing but a hybrid. Here, some portion could be face to face, some portion could be online, some portion could be interactive. So I've chosen blended. So you can say fully online, you can say face to face, all these things are there. If you are going to conduct the course entirely by either a Google Meet or a Team Meet or a Zoom conferencing tool, you can always say face to face. Even if it is online, it is only face to face. You see your students, it's a two-way communication. But here, Moodle, you're going to have the best of all ends. So you're going to use blended. Yes? சொல்லுங்க மேடம். So the mobile na பார்க்க முடியாது மேடம். Mobile na they may not be able to see. That will be too unwieldy மேடம். ரொம்ப பெருசா தெரியும். பரவாயில்லைனா பண்றேன். I'll try மேடம். I'll try. Madam. Just hold on, will you? Now is it right? Can someone tell me? Is it fine now? Is it fine now? The screen is zoomed. Is it all right? Okay. Yeah. So I got an important feedback saying that these letters are not legible in your screen. It is because of the limitation, bandwidth limitation of our StreamYard partners. Here, site information is a tab which we are discussing. Inside the site information, we get to choose whether our site is going to fulfill a face-to-face transmission of resource or education, and then blended or hybrid method of transmission of resources, then whether if it is going to be fully online. So I've chosen blended because it is going to be a combination of all. And then percent online. So supposing if you are going to offer a blended courses, so how many percentage of your students are going to be, how many percent of your resources are going to be conducted online. So for example, you need to plan all these things well in advance before you create this Moodle instance. You need to tell the public that how much of it is going to be face to face, how much of your resources are going to be totally online. So usually the rule of the thumb is 60% of the Moodle's resources are going to be, even though if it is going to be blended, 60% is going to be online, 40% is going to be face to face. So that is what we intend here. And then what is the type of institution which this Moodle site is serving? So it is going to be academic. We are not involved in corporate training, neither we are an NGO. So we are more interested in academic training. So we say we are an academic institution. Then level of education. So level, your target audience is going to be bachelor or equivalent level. So this is what you tell. And then you can save all these changes. Then I'm going to go to the next heading. Since it is zoomed, it may look somewhat different because it's the same page, site administration page. Now site information is over, analytical is over. Then I'm going to the analytics models. So what exactly you mean by the analytic model? This tells me, this gives me beautifully the indicators, warning rather. So these are all this says courses of risk of not starting. So you have enabled it. So what happens? It has two indicators. So we will see. Supposing these courses it has identified two courses as that has the risk of not starting, because these courses have no student enrollment. So without student enrollment, the course cannot start. So this points out the exact risk of some of the course not starting. As far as this site is concerned, it tells me, it gives me a warning that sometimes teachers, in some courses teacher is not available, in some courses student enrollment is absolute zero, so and you have no chance of starting that course. And then the next thing it wants me is, there are certain courses which have risk of students dropping out. So it gives me total number of indicators. What are the indicators? It gives me the course which has not been accessed at all, the courses that has not been accessed before the start date, the courses which has not been completed. So significantly it gives everything about all, it analyzes all these factors and tells me that there is a risk of students drop out from certain percentage of courses. And here next comes students who have not accessed the course recently. That tells us there are certain courses inside this Moodle installation where students are yet to access them. So what are the indicators it gives me? I'll just zoom out and show you. So here there is virtually no predictions. Students who have not accessed the course set, indicators is 1, and then upcoming activities due. So there are certain activities which I have created here inside, which have not been shown any response or activities at all. So it again wants me with an index of 1. So this gives you a beautiful warning of all your resources. It tells you there are risk of some of your courses not being taken at all. There is a risk of some courses which could suffer a huge number of student dropout. So this is actually a valuable input for a teacher. So this is an excellent tool which Moodle provides for us to keep track of the quality of the resources we provide. Now next comes analytical models I've seen. Then next comes the competency setting. So let me tell you, currently we are all harping on competency management. So competency framework. So whatever syllabus we create, we say we need to be competency oriented. So what we should do is, first, at the first place, we need to enable this competency framework within our course. So what happens is, by default, in Moodle 3.9, the competency setting always gets enabled, and then course rating can be clubbed or combined with learning plans. So both of them are already enabled in the current version of Moodle. So if you are using an old version, these are not enabled by default. You need to enable physically if you want to enable competency inside your Moodle education system. So in AICTI, as well as Medical Council of India, Dental Council, Nursing Council, every council of education has their own competency values and competency scheme. So if by enabling this, you can create the same competency framework within Moodle. I will just give you a glimpse or a sneak preview of how to create a competency framework within the Moodle environment. I think every one of you should attempt to create these competency framework for all your subjects in your Moodle installation. That is why I really plead with you, beg with you, for heaven's sake, try to install a local Moodle installation within your local machine. So migrating competency framework. So what exactly, if you have a competency framework already done, you can migrate the competency. Say I have got about 3 competency framework created, so I can migrate this competency, for example autology, auto 1, to another competency which is called autoscopy. So I can always migrate or merge one competency framework with that of the other, and then here you can always merge one competency also to the course. Again, the course will be listed. If you would have done a course, the course will be, if you have created a course will be listed. You can always migrate one competency to another, as well as you can migrate a competency framework to the course by clicking perform migration. It will migrate. And then import competency framework. So what exactly it means? So as a teacher, you will it is not possible for one person alone to create competency framework for all the subjects. for all the topics which is added, which is there in the course schedule. So it is always better to allocate these responsibilities to different individuals, and they can create the competency framework in their own environment, and you can import the framework, the same framework, inside your Moodle environment. So how can you import? You can import the same thing in a CSV format. What exactly you mean by CSV format? It is actually known as comma separated value. It is nothing but you take a notepad, you type in the value, separate each of these values with a comma. It is called comma separated value. So it's actually a database. You can do the same thing with Excel. The same thing you do it with Excel. Give out headings for each of the competency, and for the sub competency level, domain level, you give different headings, and then you create the framework, and you can save the entire Excel format as CSV format. So you give a save as, give it a name, and then you can import the file to Moodle. Moodle gives you the way to import the competency also. Similarly, you can export the competencies created in the Moodle. Suppose you would have created a competency framework for your subject in Moodle. So for example, I have created competency for literally 3 or 4 competencies I have created. By clicking the export button, what happens is it will export the entire competency framework in a CSV format, which is already, you can see in my download folders. I can see the competency framework totally exported. The same exported competency can be imported into another Moodle installation. Next comes competency framework. This is actually the place where you can create competency on your own. So by adding a new competency framework, you can create a competency framework from scratch. For example, here you can see the competency I have created here. Just for a demo purpose, I have divided it into various subheadings. So here you can select a competency, you can keep on adding. So for example, here sinusitis, I am creating a domain which says it covers the topic. Then I am saying understanding the concept behind the complaints of the patient. These are all the minimum required task a student needs to perform. This needs to be used in the evaluation process. So you create a competency, something like this. So today I would like every one of you, if you would have created a Moodle installation by viewing the class yesterday, or you can create the same Moodle installation by, I think they would have shared you the link of the video clipping which I have sent yesterday, uploaded to the YouTube. You can use the same video, and of course it is of high resolution. If you can stream it, or if you can screencast it to your larger TV screen, and Chromecast it to your TV screen, and using a casted video, you can simultaneously work on your desktop or laptop to create a local installation of Moodle. So I think if you are doing it, I'll be the happiest person. So you need to create your Moodle installation and then try out our hand in competency framework tool. So competency framework, you should create a new competency framework as per your requirement of your syllabus. So now learning plan templates. Here you can add a new learning plan template, create a new learning plan template. I will show you how this learning plan template looks. So I have given a name. I want to make it visible. By giving enable, you can enable the tool. Here, these are the competencies I have included in the learning concept. So what happens here, even though I have created learning plan, I have not linked this plan to any of the courses. So the beauty of this learning plan is you create first the learning plan and then link the same plan to the course you are going to create. So for the first aspect, I'll tell you. So I have created a learning plan for otology. Is actually a subspecialty in ENT, which is involved in the study of diseases of the ear. So here, the first thing I am going to create is the student should learn the concept of otology. So here, for concept of otology, I need to create a course and link the course here. And then the next thing I have created is clinical examination in otology. This is actually a practice. So again, this learning template, again, what happens, you need to create a course and say it's clinical examination and do it. Here I have linked one particular course, that is epistaxis for clinical examination. Similarly, you can learn, you create a learning plan and Pakka learning plan, keep it here and manage. You should link your course to the learning plan. If you link your course to the learning plan, then only it becomes a really wholesome process. So I think you would have all undergone the teaching methodology courses conducted by UGC, and you will know exactly what I mean by learning plan. So the learning plan for each and every course is different, and I really feel that you all would be mastered. I mean, being professors and faculties of the relevant specialties, you would have mastered the task of creating learning plan templates. So you should manage to create a learning plan template within the Moodle environment, and you should link your course to this learning plan template. So that is, again, you should do it here. Now let us come to the reward aspect. The student or a faculty who's doing extraordinary well should be rewarded with badges. So I told you. So I'm going to say, as an administrator, I'm going to issue a badge, and then badge issuer's email is supposed to be there. I given out my email, and then here enable course badges. I'm going to enable this because I want to reward the students who are performing well in each of these courses. So I'm going to save changes. So as these are the basic changes for badges. And then let me tell you, managing badges. So since there is no badge available, there is no way of managing badges. So now, right now, our duty is to make a badge available. How are I going to make badge available? I am going to add a new badge. So name of the badge is, I'm going to say best teacher. You can say version 1, 2 and 3 as you want. So this badge is awarded to the best teacher. I'm going to upload a badge which I have created. Here. So I found the file, I'm uploading it. So it is uploaded. You're finding the badge here. Then image author's name, I'm going to give it as my name and my email ID. Image caption, best teacher. Now I'm going to say expire date never, and then I'm going to create a badge. So we have successfully managed to create a badge. There's nothing like the criteria for adding a badge. So this criteria you need to set up. So I'm going to say what are the criteria you can choose from. You can manually issue the badge. You can issue the badge automatically by saying I'm going to issue this after a student completes the set of courses. Then I'm going to award. So these are the things you can choose from. So I will choose manual issue by role. So here manual, who is going to issue? You can choose all three for the sake of completion. Who can issue the badge? So this badge is currently not available to users. So suppose you want to enable access, then only it will be available to the users. So yes, I'm going to enable it. So I'm going to make the badge available to all the teachers. Right now there are no recipients to the badge. So I'm going to award a badge to myself. So I'm going to say manager. So where is badge? Yeah, admin user, right? I'm going to award my badge to the admin user. I've given recipient Yes. So what are the badge to the admin user, namely me? So the moment I award, I go to the site home. See, I have been awarded the best teacher badge. You are seeing the badge here in the list of badges here. So the badge I have awarded is promptly being displayed in my front page. So let me go to the site administration. Here, where were we? So there is something called backpack settings. Many sites have a way of awarding badges. So by tinkering around with backpack setting, you can enable the user to import any badge he has secured from other sites. So that you can do. So these two things, if you, I don't want to waste much time here. If you really want the student or a faculty or teacher to import the other badges they have been awarded by other sites, you can allow them to backpack or take their badges from other sites which have been awarded genuinely to them, and you can display the same in their front page. Then H5P, this is actually a new tool which is, in fact, I will say, the current craze in creating learning resources which are highly interactive. So I think this is actually, this deserves another session, a total session. I don't want to waste my time on H5P. This version of Moodle really focuses on content creation using H5P. So if you're really curious enough, you can key in H5P in your Google bar, and it will take you to the various sites which gives you a description and which gives you the software to create H5P content. You just play it around. I think we need to have a separate session for H5P, because Moodle in fact is a ocean, and we are managing to drink only a handful of it. Let us go to the license settings. Here, the license settings here, the default license, I always choose this license for the, because I like it. The Creative Commons, no commercial share alike is, I allow the students to make use of this resource free of cost, and then they cannot use it for any other commercial purpose, but of course they can share it among themselves and with others. So this is what I mean by Creative Commons, no commercial share alike. You can give it all rights reserved, you can put it across in public domain. So I always prefer to give out no commercial share alike. So because I am not going to get any money out of it, why should I allow others to earn out of my labor? So I always say no commercial share alike. But whereas if you say all rights reserved, then whatever they do, they need to seek permission from you. So you can choose a license as per your choice. License manager, here you can specify, these are all the license manager. Creative Commons is one license manager, and then you have a public domain, another license manager. If you put it into the public domain, there is one library known as open library. So it will get listed under open library. Suppose you want to put it under public domain, they will list your resource as one of the resource of open library. So I leave it to you. How you are going to choose the licenses of your site is going to be your prerogative. So let us go to the location settings. Here you can give out your location. Unfortunately, what happens is India is not specified because of the time zone. I always choose UTC, and then you can always ensure that users have got a choice of choosing the time zone. You can always also give the users a choice of choosing their own country of origin. The default city, again, you can leave it empty, ask the user to fill it up. And here IP address lookup is one thing which really helps you to ban spammers, the persons who really post unwanted messages in your chat room or in your what you call blog, unwanted comments, unwanted links. So you need to ban them. For that to happen, you need to enable the IP address lookup, so which you can do it. You use GeoLite. That is one of the most commonly used IP lookup address. Supposing you want to use Google Maps to locate where exactly your IP is situated, offending IP is situated, you can create a Google Map account, go to the Google Map account, create a API 3 version 3 key and enter the same key, same in this box, you will be able to accurately locate the place from which this IP is logging. You can also give out the country codes. You can upload all the international countries codes into this site, so that the moment they type the code, their country will be displayed. So that you can do it here. I completed location. Language settings, again, you can choose the language of your choice. We need not waste time over language. Messaging setting. Again, by using this message setting, you can ensure that what message is going out, where here you have enabled message. You can, the users can message among themselves, but what happens, they cannot mass message their ideas. What you can do is, you cannot use a site-wide messaging. We have given it a no, but they can message, they can send out a message, public message, but they cannot address it to any individual. It will be publicly posted. That is one thing here, enable message. Supposing if you are enabling site-wide messaging, what happens is they can message themselves, and these messages will be among themselves. It won't be seen by the administrator unless and until he goes to the chat room, goes to the backlog channel and sees the log. It is not possible to monitor. So to enable monitoring of all the messages being posted, you just allow messaging system, but debar site-wide messaging. And then there is one aspect, you type the message, instead of clicking the arrow, forward arrow using a mouse, you can enable the press of a enter key. If you press the enter key, the message will be published. So that is enabled by this box. And then you can delete the notification 1 week. So what is the point in keeping the irrelevant time notifications in your front page? So you can always delete the already read notification after a week's time that we have given. 1 month later, or after 30 days, all the notifications will be deleted. That is the setting we are giving. So after a month, all the notifications which are 1 month old will be deleted automatically by the Moodle server. So that is the setting we are going to give. So I think I want every one of you to play around these settings so that you will become friendly with it. Now, IP blocker. Here I have already told about spammers. If you want to block an IP, you can always put a allowed IP list. If you want to confine your site only to students who log in from a particular IP, this is possible. Supposing you are conducting your classes or conducting an exam within the Moodle and asking the student to come into your exam hall with a computer in a common place, so that you can always say only students who have been assigned IP or your institutional IP, you can copy the IP under allowed list. All the other IP will be blocked. So that is one way of ensuring that students does not create any problems during examination. So if you want to conduct a computer based test from a common premises within your institution, you can always ask them to bring their own laptop or a handheld portables. On coming down, they'll be logging into your institutional IP. So if you allow them to log in via your institutional IP, you can allow that IP alone to access Moodle. So you can go to this setting and allow this IP, this IP which the student is using from your institution to log into the exam resource, that will be allowed. All the other IP will be blocked. So if you find someone is notoriously troubling the other users, you can block their IP. You can type each and every IP followed by a comma and then say that those IP will be blocked. And then let us spend some time with the site security setting. So here the site security, you should protect the user's name. So what happens is, if you check this protect username, the forgotten password will not display. So what happens is, if you say I've forgotten the password, the form, nothing will be there. So they need to send out an email to the addresser, or what happens is they need to specify only the box will be given where they need to key in their email address. That's all. It will say, if your email address is found in our database, we will send the mail to this specified email. giving you instructions to reset the password. This is actually a standard instruction in all site security protocol. Now here, if you click this box, what happens is any user who wants to see what is in your site will be forced to log in. They need to go and register, they need to log in. So if you do that, what happens is no user can access your site as guest. So for example, you should not do that, because your search engines are known to get and see your resources so that it can be listed in a search engine only as a guest. So you should permit guest login. So just by clicking the guest login, you need to permit them. So that is how it is. Then allowing indexing in search engine. So here, if you don't allow indexing, what happens is your site will be in oblivion in no time. So you need the search engines to display your site prominently. And then what are all the profiles which can be visible? Suppose you log in, what are all the profiles which could be seen by a student? Student can see a profile of a teacher. The student can see a non-editing teacher's profile. Student can see a student's profile. Only these three profiles, details about these three people can be shown. If you want a profile of a manager, or if you want a profile of a course creator to be made public, you check it. By default, only these three roles are visible. Profiles of all three rows are visible. And now you need to spend some time with this setting, maximum file upload size. This totally depends on the resources provided by your server. This is actually, since I have used my desktop, it has given a very high value of 2 GB. But mind you, the entire software is built on PHP. PHP has its own set of limitations. PHP by default limits file upload size to 2 MB. By default, a student or a teacher can upload only a file of size less than 2 MB. If you want this thing to increase, if you want to increase this file upload size, you should increase the value in the PHP. What you do is you go to your server root folder. There will be one file. In example, here you have www as your root folder. There will be one file called php.ini. So you just right click on this php.ini, open the file in your notepad, and then there will be one setting, post max size and upload max size. So you increase the file size accordingly in these two settings, save it, then only you can increase the default PHP upload size accordingly. And then every user, be it a student, teacher, course creator, administrator, whoever it may be, they'll be provided with 100 MB of free space to store their personal files. What exactly you mean by personal files? Supposing a teacher wants to create enriching content, he could have photographs, diagrams, illustrations, tables. So he can always store these files in a private file space, which is allotted to him, and the value of that space is going to be only 100 MB. So you should not exceed that 100 MB. That is what you can choose. You can even increase the number here. You can also say it is going to be 200 MB or 300 MB. It is up to your choice. But the thing is, it is the administrator of the site who has the right to reserve the size of the private space. So this private space is a very useful feature in Moodle, because you can, all of the teachers or course creators can upload their files which they are going to use in their courses, like images, diagrams and tables, and the same resource can be used by other teachers also during their course creation. So they can interchange their resources which are stored in the private file spaces. And then the next setting is allow embedding of objects. So here, if by default you are not permitted to embed Flash, you are not permitted to embed a HTML website. So within this Moodle environment, you can't embed other codes like Flash or HTML. This is a security issue. So they want to be very careful. They want none of these files should damage the Moodle installation, or they should not open up a door for hacking. So that is the reason why we don't allow embedded object tags. And then trusted content, again you don't enable, because what is trusted for them may not be trusted for you. So you don't enable trusted content. Okay. Another thing which you can do settings here is the maximum time to edit the post. So for example, you have posted something, you want to re-edit, you want to delete. So 30 minutes is given for the user. Supposing he thinks his post is inappropriate, he doesn't want the post to go on, you can always go ahead and remove that post. So it is given 30 minutes time will be given for him to edit the post. Till such time it won't be visible to others. His post which he has posted will be visible to others only after 30 minutes. So 30 minutes will be awarded for him to delete the post if he wants. The extended characters like hyphen, these things if you allow, what happens? These are all coding tools, the letters which are commonly used in coding. So invariably these letters are not enabled because this can create some problems with some of your lessons. So that we don't allow. And then profiles for Android. I mean, here you can create profiles, allow profile for each of the user. So here, this profile visibility, you should be very careful, and the profile should be shown only to enrolled user and not for the guest. Cron execution is actually a repetitive routine task which a system has got to perform to keep itself in good health. So supposing every time it needs to update the time, update the server time, it needs to update the user database. So these things are nothing but cron execution. For performing cron execution, you need to do it at the level of the server and not at the level of the Moodle. Moodle just provides a tool to do it, but you need to enable it at the level of the server. And then cron password for remote, here for heaven's sake don't create, because this password you can run a cron from a remote access from a device, not from your server but from your mobile also you can do a cron job done. You can create a password for it. I won't advise you to do a cron job from remote area. You need to be physically present in front of a server for security issue to create the to make the cron job run. These are the, I don't want to waste much time here. Let us come to the other settings. I think we have already done with this. Now let us come to the front page setting. Yeah, this is actually the details which goes into the front page. So you have a full site name, you have a short name which is visible here, and then you write up a short summary in your front page, what your site is about. Give out the summary, give out the details of your administrator, email, contact email, and then this tells you what are the things you want to display in your front page. So you can always display the list of courses, and then you can display announcements, and then you can display course search box. Then you can display a combo list containing various resources, and then front page which you see on logging in. Again, you can display a list of courses, then list of announcement, and then you can list the categories wherein the courses are handled, and then you can also list the courses in which the user has enrolled. So if you tick all these things, this will be shown in their front page as soon as they logged in. Here the category depth is, supposing if it shows out the category of the course, it will list only 2 courses. Since you say it is only 2, you can also increase the category, you can make it 5. So when you go to the course category, you click the category, it will display 5 courses, and then the maximum number of courses it can display is 200 because of the constraints of the space or the real estate. So make it the same, or even if you want you can reduce it also. And then the front page rule, only the authenticated user can see the front page contents. So that is what the default thing does. And then announcement, the number of announcement you are allowing a user to see in their front page happens to be 3. And similarly, you limit the number of comments in a front page to 15. So that really saves a lot of space in your front page. Front page is nothing but the page you land up as soon as you key in your username and password. So that is over. MoodleNet is actually I'll just give you a preview. It is their service. Here what happens is MoodleNet is actually MoodleNet is giving you resources to create courses. So you can, if you enable it, the course creator can log into MoodleNet account provided they have one, and they can reuse the material which is available there provided it is licensed for reuse. I'm literally done with this. Now users I am reserving for tomorrow. Courses, so manage courses. I think we are running out of time. I think we will cover the courses and users tomorrow. Thank you very much. If there are any doubts, you can ping me.